what are tag managers? Now, the best way to go about it would be to think of a tag manager as a toolbox which holds your various tools or tags in this case. So for an example, let's take one of the most used tag managers, which is Google Tag Manager, and it has all these tags that you can use. Now, why do we need a tag manager? Why can't I simply just individually, enable a service which I want? Like, let's say I want Google Analytics. I could go to the page of Google Analytics. I could copy their code. I could put it in my source code, and yeah, I would have enabled Google Analytics for my website. But then I would realize that I need Facebook ads as well. So I would go on Facebook, I would copy that code, paste it into my code, and then that's how I would enable it. Now, if I needed another tool, so I would have to repeat the same process over and over again. Yeah, so this makes it very tedious, and now we are just talking about it on a smaller scale. Imagine if this were to happen on a larger scale in an organization, let's say. So this would take up a lot of time, a lot of resources, and it would be a burden on the IT team as well. So what Google Tag Manager does is it gives you one code which you have to paste in your source code, and it would install Google Tag Manager for you. So then you could go to its console, right? You could go to its console where it unifies all these tags and you can use them together. So these are three tags that are enabled on the same website, but as you can see, I didn't have to use three different codes. I just had to use one code, and Google Tag Manager has streamlined the process for me. Now again, this is also helpful in cases when you need to change code or update something, like if the company rolls out an update and you have to make changes to it accordingly. If I were to have added individual codes in my source code, I would have to make changes on all of the codes on all of the pages of the website. But again, Google Tag Manager makes it way easier to deal with these sorts of changes since it is unified in one console. Some things you have to keep in mind while using a tag manager is to use a tag manager that's trusted. Since you're dealing with a lot of data, you need to ensure that your privacy and your customers' privacy are maintained, and that's why it is important to use a tag manager which is trusted. Another thing is that tag managers often provide you with previews where you can test your tags, and you can find out how it is working, and then you can publish it. And another thing we need to keep in mind is that Google Tag Manager does not replace these tools, it only makes them easier to use. So like, I am still using Google Analytics, but I am using it through Google Tag Manager, which through its streamlined process makes it more user friendly and easier for me to use. It reduces the coding work, so you don't have to be dependent on the IT team. It deals well with changes, updates, and also deletion. Suppose you have to remove a code because you are not using that service anymore, so again you'll have to locate that code on your source code and delete individually. But via Google Tag Manager you can again use its console to do the same. So this was an overview of what is a tag manager and how it works.